Okay, staff, is there any additions or deletions?
Yes, sir. We have 3 deletions, or like to pull 3 agenda items that we'll probably put on the January 2nd agenda. From the consent item, we want to pull the last item, which is a special family number 14, special family lot permit.
Okay.
Want to do additional information on that. The other 2 are number 11 and number 12. Update on utilities and request by town of Fort White. Again, we'll move those to the January 2nd meeting.
Okay, and David, if I may, on the update of utilities, due to what I read in the newspaper today, I'd like to give Rocky at that time just a few minutes to basically introduce what the utilities committee agreed on yesterday, which is in the paper today, so.
Great.
Okay,
So we'll modify it.
so Amber, you got that? Okay. All right, seek a motion on the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, election of the chairman. And, seek nominations.
Need a motion? I nominate. I have a motion and I nominate Tim Murphy as the chairman of this board.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you. Got a nomination for vice chair.
Nominate Robbie Hollingsworth.
Got a nomination for Robbie Hollingsworth.
I'll second that.
Got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, sir. Sirs, I guess you'd say. All right, setting the time and date and the location of the meetings. David, you got that rundown there?
Yes, if you go into your packet, you'll see that there is a resolution that we are going to, that you would adopt. The one thing I did not consider a conflict is January 2nd, because it's January 2nd, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention if it affects you. This sets it at what we currently do, which is 2 meetings a month. The first meeting, a day meeting, second meeting, a night meeting, with the following exceptions. And there's 5 exceptions where we saw potential conflicts. So before you adopt the resolution, we want to run through them. You have the option to reschedule at a date and time, to cancel, or to unchange. Or if you have additional conflicts you want to bring up, you can bring those up. That way, once this resolution is adopted, your calendar is set for the next calendar year. So the first, did you want to say something, Joe?
I was just saying, Mr. Chair, as you run through it, when we, for example, if we were talking about March 20th, if you could ask for a motion on March 20th, what to do, we'll handle each one by motion. I'll fill it in, and then at the end, you can adopt it as amended. If
Okay,
that makes, so as we go through them one by one, if you'll call for a motion and have a vote on each change.
okay, so where are we at with coming up to, we're already set to February this year, correct?
Right, so everything stays the same. These are the only ones we saw potential conflicts on the calendar.
I got you. Okay. Everybody understand that? I think I'm clear on that.
So we can introduce them one at a time and explain them.
Yeah, what are the
You want me to
So
do
I'll
that?
do it.
Okay.
So on March 20th, 2025, that's the same time as Rural County Day. You can't be in both Tallahassee and here at the same time. So the question is, how would you like to handle that meeting? Would you like to reschedule it, and to what date and time? Would you like to cancel it, or would you like it unchanged?
I'm gonna put my calendar away.
Good either way.
So we already got 1 to 6, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we definitely can't make it back for that. I mean, that's a pretty long day that we're gonna have over there. I think Stars and Jennifer and them are planning a big participation.
Yeah.
2 full days, yeah. So 19th and 20th is Rural County Days.
Is that where the booths are and all? Are we gonna do
Yeah.
a better job this
And
year?
then they have receptions where you meet with the legislators that night.
Yeah.
The board, what's everybody's input? I mean, you can always call a special meeting if we need off or something.
You can always call a special meeting if you need to, yes.
I'll make a motion, we cancel that meeting. If we have to have a special meeting, we can plan that in our schedule.
So if I understand the motion, you want to cancel that meeting, and then at a later date, if we see we need to schedule a meeting, we'll schedule a meeting
Yeah.
to replace that meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say
All
aye.
right.
Joel, I need to pronounce that on more. Okay.
I'm taking care of it right here, sir, and I'll read the schedule back when we get ready to adopt it.
So on June 19th, you have a board meeting. It is also a federal and county holiday of Juneteenth. How would you like to handle that meeting?
June the 19th, June the 19th.
It's a federal and state holiday?
Well, it's a county holiday and a
Okay.
federal holiday of
Okay.
Juneteenth.
County holiday.
Can we have our meeting on Wednesday and just move it a day up?
It's up to you.
I'm
And
good with
That's
that.
fine with me.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm fine with that
We're
too.
gonna be talking about budget situation.
That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna probably be in budget season then, so.
And commissioners, I do want to caution you, when we're talking about these 5:30 meetings, you remember those are your land use meetings, those are your meetings where we adopt ordinance, so don't cancel too many of them. So if we could move it to the 18th, that would probably help staff.
Well,
And if we have an issue with the other one in March, we can do it the
We can
27th,
set
you know,
that,
we can
yes,
rock
sir.
that.
Yeah.
so let's schedule that meeting for that Wednesday before, be 16th, I guess.
So
Be the 18th.
the motion then would be to reschedule to June 18th, 2025 at 5:30 PM. Is that correct?
That's a motion, yes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So the next one is not a holiday, but
Thank you.
it's July 3rd. Obviously, it's right there at the 4th of July weekend. So we didn't know if the board wanted to meet July 3rd or if they wanted to do something else.
I'm fine with July 3rd. That's up to y'all.
Yeah, I'm fine with the third.
I'll be on vacation next week, so you'll have it.
No, we just like you now. You can't miss a meeting.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm good with the 3rd, so, yeah.
So it's unchanged?
Yeah.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's gonna leave town, most time they're gonna leave that Thursday or Friday anyways.
Yeah.
You know, go after the meeting. It'd be an early morning meeting. So,
It's a
yeah.
morning, yeah.
Your Rocky is already
So
scheduled
we'll-
on vacation, right?
So I
Yeah.
made a motion to
So
leave it
can we have a
unchanged.
motion to
Motion
leave
to
everything
second.
unchanged?
Second.
Motion and a
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So the next one is September 18th. There is a fact conference that week.
How long, when's the conference start? David?
Conferences typically start Wednesday and end Friday.
Wednesday through Friday, yeah.
Now, that's the regular fact conference. That's not the one that we just came back from.
Where is it at this year?
I don't remember.
That's the 18th, you said?
Yes, September 18th.
Well,
And typically, the one that's the good meeting is in June and July. So
Yeah.
that may be one that you don't want to attend.
let's leave that one scheduled, and if we have to address it, we'll address it then. Let's look and see how many people's going, and, I mean, I'd be okay with just leaving that
Yeah.
one.
I move we leave it September 18th and change it if we have to.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So November 20th is the fact conference where they set their legislative agenda, kind of like the one that we just went to this past month. What would the board like to do?
And again, you don't have a clue when it's scheduled, where it's at.
I did not look and see where it was at. But it's like the one we just came back from where you have the ethics meeting at the beginning on Wednesday or Tuesday. Then you have the boot camp, if there's a need for a boot camp, which there probably won't be because it's not an election year. And then the committee meetings where they set the policies for the next year.
What day was that, David?
That is the week of November 20th, so that would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So this Thursday, gentlemen, is the Thursday before Thanksgiving, and then the way the calendar lays out, you'll have another meeting on December 4th. So this will be meeting date, Thanksgiving, another meeting date in terms of the Thursdays, if that affects your decision-making at all. I know some of y'all don't have your calendars in front of you.
So the meeting would be the day before Thanksgiving?
No, sir, the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Thursday.
So
So the
it'd be-
week.
It'll be a week before
Week
Thanksgiving.
for it. That's
Okay.
fine with me.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Let's leave that there.
I think it'd be all right.
Got a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we leave that date scheduled.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chairman, who was that second? Sorry.
Everett,
Everett.
All right, Mr. Chair, just for, to refresh everybody, the motion to approve Columbia County, Florida Resolution Number 2024 R-58 would reflect that March 20th will be canceled, June 19th will be rescheduled to June 18th, July 3rd would be unchanged, September 18th would be unchanged, and November 20th would be unchanged. Yeah. There can be a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
I was gonna say something. I like the way we're doing these. At first, when we did that 9:30 meeting, I thought maybe
But look here at 9:30 in the morning.
we got more here than we did at the last 5:30 meeting. You know,
So that's a good feeling. Because there's a lot of people work at night now. Can't come in during late at night or in the afternoon. A lot of mamas cooking dinner, so we're glad they're here.
so
Well-
we're gonna keep the 9:30, 5:30 schedule.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, we-
keeping hours the same as they were before.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'm requesting, if you would, to move up item, what is that? Number 4, special act relating to the dissolution of the hospital authority, to right after the presentation to Mr. Brandon, Representative Brandon.
Okay.
Did we get that straight about the meeting staying the same?
Well, I know we did reschedule the thing there and it was all on the same time, but we can come back and readdress that if we need on to.
Okay.
You're good on the scheduling resolution. I think Mr. Kraus's comment is the next item on the agenda will be the presentation of Representative Brandon.
Correct.
And my understanding is we want to talk about the special act as soon as that presentation is over. And because the agenda's already been adopted, we just need a motion to move that up.
I'll make the motion to move the special act for the meeting up after the presentation.
Second.
Recognition of Mr. Brown.
Second.
Yes. Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay. Recognition of Senator Brandon. Somebody a rep here?
Yeah, he's over there.
He's here.
He
There
did,
he is.
he did come in.
You didn't even have to run, Jordan. Yeah, you didn't have to run, and he's made you a senator.
Senator, no, sorry.
You come check on Stars, didn't you? Make sure he's
Stay
working.
right here, Chuck.
You doing good?
We'd just like to take time to give this presentation, our appreciation to the legislative appreciation of Chuck Brandon, he's going to share with us the leadership roles he's got in this upcoming session and the importance of that to Columbia County. And then also, he's going to give us a rundown on all the great things he's done for us and his last travels in the western part of the United States. I've been watching him for a couple of weeks on the mountain. But we appreciate what you do, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck, for all
Chuck
your
has
smile.
been a great help to rural counties all
Yep.
over the state, not just in his district.
He has.
We really appreciate what he's done for us.
I didn't come prepared to give any remarks, but I appreciate this. I would caution you before I walk out with this. I did hear the Speaker of the House say that he was going to cut back on member projects this year. So, of course, I am a part of his leadership team now. I think the numbers he gave out was, and I may not be exactly right, in 2019, there were $174 million in member projects given out, and last year there were 1.3 billion. So he didn't say what he was going to do about that, but it made me think when he threw those numbers out that he had some concern about that, and he was going to address it in some form or fashion. He has not said how he's going to do that. That being said, of course, we all have been a benefit of those dollars, and some of those dollars were federal dollars that came down through the COVID money back in the last 3 or 4 years. So that certainly has affected the budget, and the budget is still adjusting to those things. But I'm honored that Speaker Daniel Perez Miami saw fit to include me as a part of his 9-member leadership team there in the House. And I will chair the Judiciary Committee. There are, I guess, seven or nine, Jay, main committees in the House. And I'm going to chair one of those, of course, those being budget, education, healthcare, state affairs. We have a new committee, security and threat assessment, and that may not be all of it. And of course, the Judiciary Committee, which oversees the criminal justice system here in Florida and the civil justice system here in Florida, which, of course, I've spent 35 years in the criminal justice system, and I don't have a lot of experience in the civil justice system, so we'll have to try to learn that side of it. So it does give us a unique seat at the table that we probably haven't had in a lot of years in the legislature to be a part of that team. But I'm sorry I missed the meeting. I guess it was in Ocala a couple weeks ago, the small county meeting. I'm sorry I missed that. We were gone, but of course that's near and dear to my heart. Small counties. I'm from a small county, grew up, raised here, and we'll always be out there advocating for the rural counties here in Florida. And as far as projects go, I won't. You mentioned that I won't go back and list them, but we've done pretty darn good at that. And I always told the joke, and I'll leave you with that. A blind hog finds an acorn every once in a while, so I've just been a lucky blind hog, I guess. Thank you.
You've done a great job,
Yeah.
Chuck. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Chuck.
This session, we're gonna have a lot of rural representation. It's gonna be, we may not get everything we asked for, but, hey, it's gonna be an exciting year. I really believe that.
I will say that too. Of course, the speaker, who is a great friend of mine, is from Miami, but the Senate president is from Wauchula, which is Hardy County, which is about the same probably population as Bradford or Baker County. And of course, in his speech over on the other side the other day, he talked about having a rural renaissance.
There you go.
So we got some real good guys in there that understand rural Florida and how important it is, how important these state dollars are to our counties. We are different than the large counties like Dade and Hillsborough and some of these. So it's a unique situation that we have these folks in these positions as leaders, and I think it all work out in the end for us. Thank y'all.
Well, when you need us to step up, you know what the numbers are. All you gotta do is call. Appreciate you. Okay. At this time, what was that number, David?
Number 4, I believe.
Dissolution of the.
Okay. Moving number 4 forward for discussion. Joel?
Yes, sir. Board will recall at a recent meeting, we discussed the referendum that was placed on the November general election ballot, and that it overwhelmingly passed in support of the notion of dissolution of the Lakeshore Hospital Authority. Subsequent to that, worked with Stosh and developed a model special bill that would go to the legislature. Because as we discussed before, because the hospital authority was created by the legislature, it can only be dissolved by the legislature. So there's a process involved, and part of that process, one of the ways we can handle it as efficiently as possible is to bring it to our legislative delegation, which you guys know meets first couple of weeks of January. So it's necessary for us to, as a board, review this, decide if this is something we do want to present to the legislative delegation. And if it does garner the support of the legislative delegation, then of course it will go forward. If it doesn't have support of the legislative delegation at that juncture, it'll shift into a different posture. But in order for us to be ready to get publication handled for the legislative delegation meeting, we need to have this reviewed, any comments, changes, or anything you'd like to make. And then what we'd ultimately like to have from today is an approval for something we can present to the legislative delegation in January. So,
Mr. Chairman, I believe the legislative delegation meeting for Columbia County is scheduled for the 8th of January.
It's January.
right. So first couple of weeks there, and Stosh is here. We moved this up specifically in case Representative Brandon wanted to address any of the content of the special act. You will note it's very short. I think brevity is a good thing. Stosh, what we go from about 6 or 7 pages down to this 2. So I think we did our best to sharpen our pencils and try to make it very easy for everyone to understand. But at the same time, you know, these are complex issues, and if you have any questions, we'd like to go through them.
Well, the straw ballot, I think was the right thing to do. And of course, the voters of Columbia County spoke, and so it's our duty to go forth. And with the participation, we've had input from hospital authority and constituents and what have you. So I look forward. When I was reading it again last night, you put it pretty to the point. I could gather everything there, and it's. I personally don't have a whole lot of questions. Don't have no questions on it. Board, anybody have any input?
I mean, I've read it and I think it covers what we're trying to do. I understand this is the best way forward. Like I said, Stosh wants to add anything to this or talk about it.
To refresh.
I'm good with it. So.
To refresh y'all's recollection of the discussions we had at the last meeting, there was concern about the amount of money that might come through, and the fact that those revenues were generated off of an assessment for healthcare. We did find provisions in law that allow for the establishment of trust funds. We also have asked the legislature to go ahead and earmark those monies. We've also, on your behalf, obligated the board to keep what we're calling a public health advisory board. So it's not just indigent care. You have a broad spectrum of public health responsibilities that are covered under general law. And this advisory board would at least include your local health department director, but would obviously be open to additional appointments in this board's discretion. You would appoint those individuals, and just like your economic development advisory board, they'd give you recommendations. We've got this money. We think it makes sense to spend it for purpose X. It would come to you. You would decide how you wanted to appropriate it out of your budget with the fact that those funds are earmarked. So we tried to come up with a way to thread that needle so that we respected the fact that these tax revenues were generated for that purpose. We wanted to try to continue to respect that.
Any other questions from the board? Dale, I see you sitting back there. You have any input on anything that's going on here? And I'd just like to recognize Dale. He's the executive director currently of the Lakeshore Hospital Authority. And Representative Branning, anything in this resolution that, any questions, of course, your right-hand man Stiles there, he knows it as good as anybody, but we will be coming to you, and if there's any questions, please feel free to forward them to us as far as this goes, and then we'll go from there and see where it goes.
And so, Mr. Chair, with that, if there can be a motion to approve transmission of this to the legislative delegation, we'll go ahead and get notice published.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve, send forth. Got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Good deal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You get that, Ann? Okay, so we'll move down to Louis.
Morning, Commissioners. How are y'all this morning?
Morning.
Good.
Okay, the first item of business we've got here is a public hearing on a minor subdivision request by Mr. West in Three Rivers Estates. What he's requesting, he's got a parcel there that originally consisted of 3 platted parcels in the Three Rivers subdivision plat. He is requesting that to be replatted into 2 equal. So, and this information is in your packet there, the vicinity maps and so forth. But basically, he's got one parcel that is 3 platted parcels, and he wants to replat that into 2.
Okay, board, any input before I open the public hearing? Okay. I'll open up a public hearing in regards to minor subdivision request 24-1103. Public hearing is open. Anybody here to speak for or against? Not seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Board, what may be your?
Chairman, this is my district. I have no problem with this. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay, Louis?
Second petition here is a minor subdivision request, 241102 by Mr. Chris Bullard. It's Hills of Huntsville Phase 2. This is a 10-acre parcel adjacent to Hills of Huntsville subdivision that has never been platted. He is requesting a subdivision plat of two parcels of 5 acres each, which would be comparable to what's already out there to Hills of Huntsville.
Okay. All right, I'll open up public hearing. That's yours, Kevin?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
This is in my district, that's all. I
okay.
don't have any issue
You
with it.
okay with it?
Yeah, I'm
I'll
fine
make a
with it.
motion.
Yeah.
He gonna
Well,
open the public
yeah,
hearing.
I declare the public hearing open. Anybody here to speak for or against? I've got 2 cards here for Kathy and then Richard Johnson. So either one of y'all like to come first. If you would, come to the podium, state your name, address for the clerk.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Leffler, 430 Northwest Milo Terrace. I'm okay with it as long as everything stays with the HOA approved things, the 5 acres, the square footage of the homes.
Good.
That's it. Leffler, Leffler. Kathy with a C. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sir? Oh, okay, okay. Okay, Chris, you're the developer, I guess, on this, or owner, so if you'd like to speak.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. This was just a parcel left over when we originally developed the subdivision. We're coming back and platting just 2 lots. And once we get it platted, we'll approach the homeowners association to see if they would accept it into their care. We don't plan on changing any of the restrictions. It'll be just 2 more lots in the same subdivision. It'll be just a copy of what we've already done. The property appraiser's website shows 15 acres, but there's just 10 there. We actually own about 30 more to the south, but there's no plan to do anything with that right now.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Okay, with that being said, I'll declare the public hearing closed. What's the wishes of the board?
I make a motion to approve.
Got a
Second.
motion?
Second.
Approved. Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank y'all. Approval of the consent agenda as amended.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Okay, I didn't hear. Okay, got a
Sorry.
motion and a second.
It's
All-
hard, isn't it, here down here?
It's hard to hear down here, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Adoption of the consent agenda.
I move to adopt.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right. Joel?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. This is another item, excuse me, that was introduced at a recent meeting.
Yes, sir.
The board will recall that the city of Lake City with the county, we're working together trying to get grant funding to extend utilities all the way down to what I call the southeast quadrant of the 4775 interchange. That property is owned by Lake City LLC, or excuse me, Lake City 47 LLC, also operated by Cornerstone Partners. We had discussed that in the event the grant funding did not come through, that the board might consider an economic development incentive that would allow for the county to pay the additional money necessary for the city bid and contracted work to be completed. If that doesn't make sense for anybody, check me on it, but I think I said it right. This economic development agreement is a product of negotiation. The city was present, as well as the developer. The developer understands that if we go forward this way and the developer fails to develop, all money spent by the county will have to be reimbursed, which is a typical clawback that we use in economic development agreements. The developer is committing to fully plat and basically do everything horizontal on the site as of 18 months from the date of the agreement. So it spurs development, it moves development forward, It only kicks in if both the city manager and county manager agree that the grant funding will not come through. So there will come a time where those two gentlemen who understand grant funding as well as any of the rest of us on this board do, will say, this isn't going to happen. And if they say that, then this agreement will trigger. So I think I covered all the board's concerns. We need it approved if the board would like to go forward.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
by doing this, this guarantees enough money so the city can award the contract for construction of the project.
Correct, correct. And not hold that process up. We continue.
Otherwise, they would have a shortfall of up to $500,000 and might not be able to award the contract.
Okay, I just wanted to make, because there's wordage in there, until y'all would have that option. But, I don't want it drug out because I think we pretty well consensusly agreed the last meeting that, at the end of January, these grants we're moving forward. And, so,
And they got a really good price.
Excuse me?
The city got a really good price on it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was a real, and this is in my, board, this is in my district, and of course, I've been keeping an eye on it, but we're fortunate, city got a good bid on this, so it's, gonna kind of help move this, forward. And I know Mr. Stewart is, flabbergasted with this situation. Finally, we're seeing some action, but hopefully we get this thing moved forward and we'll see a difference out there by mid next year, for sure. So, seek a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. Please.
Hi, I'm Scott Stewart, and thank you for addressing this today. I'll just bring up to speed on a few things down there that we're doing. We're very excited about this stage of the project down there right now. We've done a lot of work over there the last 8 years down there. A lot of dirt work's been done, a lot of things have been cleared up. We got all our permits for the DOT all done, all of the roads designed out there. We're gonna redesign our plat just a little bit to accommodate a potential large grocery store down there that we're working on right now. So we're gonna tweak it a little bit. We're excited about that right now. Nothing's been signed or done yet, but we are tweaking our plans to be positioned for a large grocery store down there. We've got a lot of interest on the rest of the process all up front there, and we're very excited about that. We're going to be dozing the Little Caesars building down there and rebuilding it about 30 feet to the west to have a brand new building down there, allow for a drive-through down there. Excited about that. I just got a correspondence from the city here a couple days ago to sign an agreement that they can start doing, that they could bore under to the property down there. So we're very excited, and we really appreciate everybody's help here. It's been a long time, but it's okay. It's a good time to do it, and we're very excited about it, and a lot of good interest down there. And I've been holding off signing deals with people until I know when construction can start, because it's really hard to promise that to an end user without knowing it. So this is really, really close to that time where I can start to pull the triggers, and this helps, like you mentioned, this helps a lot spur on people like me to say, okay, we're gonna go in and do the work now. So we've done some of it, but the next phase of the underground utilities and things, I needed to wait till I knew sewer was coming down there. So again, thank you very much for helping get this done.
Thank you for your patience, Scott. I know it's been a long time, but Rocky?
Mr. Chairman, I was just gonna say, I think this is the assurance they were looking for at the last meeting. I like this agreement, and I really believe this is some of the stuff we're gonna have to do in the future.
Yeah.
Dealing with economic development, and I like the approach in this plan, and I make a motion to approve it.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. And just for the record, there's a lot of moving parts going on at 47 right now. There'll be a meeting tonight, asking for some, special exceptions and what have you, variances, if you want to say. So, you won't know 47 here in about 2.5, 3 years, I'll assure you that. But we appreciate it. Thank you for your hard work.
And it's a rare spot because I think it affects 3 commissioners' districts, really.
It does,
Yeah.
it does, everything right here.
It's one of those corners. It's a corner of 3 different commissioners. It's kind of strange.
So it's great. Okay. All right. So, Joel, moving
Yes, sir.
forward.
Yes, sir. And thank you. We'll get that executed, and we'll let all the parties know they're ready to proceed. The next item I have on the agenda is something a little different. You'll recall at the last meeting, you had a gentleman come up and speak to you about the desire to locate another Life Flight helicopter in Columbia County. And they had a full proposal to co-locate near our fire station on Lake Jeffrey. Mr. Kirby and I sat down with that gentleman as well as with Chief Crawford and Mr. Pittman and sort of went through, what are their needs, what are they looking for, where are we headed. We learned some things through that meeting that is going to require the county to competitively bid this lease. Okay. This is not a sole provider situation. This is not a franchise situation or an exclusive situation where we would be able to deal with just one outfit. This is a competitive market, and there could be multiple parties that are interested in doing this helipad. Through working with Clint's office, we were able to identify a different parcel of property than the one that was on the proposal you saw. This is that new piece of property that was acquired right next to the Dollar General on Lake Jeffrey, right across from New Millennium. It's a little further from residential areas. It also is going to allow us to do some piggybacking for surface water management with Clint's new covered RC car track facility right there at the 500-acre mega site. So with all that in mind, what we need from the board today is approval to seek bids for what we're calling a build-to-suit lease arrangement. They would pay us a monthly lease payment, but as part of that lease, they would be obligated to build out the helipad site in accordance with the rough outline that I've included in the agenda packet and to operate an air ambulance service there. The reason for that is part of why we're doing this from a public purpose standpoint is the chief believes and agrees that there have been up to 400 aborted helicopter calls regionally, not just in Columbia County, but regionally, just in the last year. And I was confused by that. Like, what do you mean you just don't send the helicopter? Well, if there's not one to send, they don't. They call off the helicopter, they transport by ambulance, which, as you can imagine, in 400 cases, some of those cases, that patient probably didn't fare as well as they would have if they could have been flown by helicopter. So the chief agreed that this will serve public safety to have another helicopter located in Columbia County. Also believes that making it closer to where we have ambulances and our ALS services will allow for the helicopter, if it can't go to the patient, for them to more quickly get the patient to the helicopter, if that makes sense. Rather than going to the airport, they can come right to one of our fire station locations. So we're seeking authorization to go out to bid. Obviously, those bids would have to come back. They'd be ranked. You would end up approving the ultimate prevailing bidder. But we would like to go ahead and get this process moving as soon as possible. So if you have any questions about it, I'm happy to address them, but that's the purpose of the request for motion.
Board, in our meeting the other morning, myself, Kevin, and Joel, there was a couple of little minor questions brought up, but talking to dispatch, there's fair and equal ways, to keep everybody in line as far as who gets the next call. And like Mr. Crawford said the other day, and the gentleman from the helicopter, it's definitely a need, and it seems to me like a good place. I'm glad to see it have moved from one side of that parcel to the other.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about the residents' disturbance and.
Yeah, those neighbors will be upset about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to that point, Commissioner Murphy, the operator did tell us that it's their obligation as they operate those helicopters to clear their right of ways in terms of trees and things like that, and to make sure they're not interrupting or disturbing the surrounding area. So that's not something that we would necessarily regulate, but they as an operator would have to comply.
Gotcha.
So we'll have a little bit, we did feel like, and again, staff identified the parcel. This is a much better location. And the possibility that you're going to have complaints is sharply reduced by moving it over here.
Before we vote on it, Jeff, is there anything you'd like to add, need to talk to? Okay, I seek a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Got a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Good deal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Kevin?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The first item is Budget Amendment 2512. So we talk a lot about capital projects. We try to make sure we capture those one time a year during the budget process, but we always have room for contingency and emergencies. This is one of those. So what does this budget amendment do? It transfers $50,000 from contingency over to repair the air conditioning system at the courthouse. I'm requesting a motion to approve budget amendment 2512, $50,000 transfer from contingency to courthouse maintenance account.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
Thank you, sir. The next item, as Joel indicated, the RC covered track. So back in the day, when Southside Sports Complex was growing very rapidly, we set up a special account to do various improvements out Southside, fencing, lighting, et cetera. There's a tad of money left over in that account. This will be the last project out of that account. TDC has agreed to basically match that to accommodate the covered RC track pavilion, which will be located at the Old Boys Club on Lake Jeffrey Road. So I'm requesting a motion to approve budget amendment 2510 to transfer funds from TDC reserves to RC track replacement or replacement $250,000.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you, sir. Next item is right across the street. So we obviously got the 500 acres. We've talked multiple times about the first phase. Your first phase is roughly a $10 million build out. We all know in this world, it takes roughly 10 to 20%, I call it 15%, to do the red tape to get ready to do a build out. That's your engineering, your designing, and your permit. At the end of the day, the TDC, we did a legislative appropriation request. We got $750,000. TDC has agreed to match that with $750,000. That gives you $1.5 million to do your engineering, designing, and permit for phase one of 500-acre build-out on Lake Jeffrey Highway. So requesting a motion, budget amendment 25-09 to transfer funds from TDC reserves, legislative appropriation match to the 500 acres in the amount of $750,000.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One final item before we sit down. We are buttoning up the debris effort of Hurricane Helene. I spoke with our county attorney the other day. We are getting multiple calls as it relates to debris pickup. At the end of the day, we are in the punch list phase. We've sent teams out to audit to make sure we've captured. I'm not saying we've not missed a pile here and there. That's reasonable with 250,000 yards. But we need to remind our constituents we're done. Okay? So if they bring debris out post, I guess, the time that we allowed, we're going to treat it just like we would any other time. It's a liability. When they put the material out adjacent to the edge of pavement, at some point, somebody's going to have a problem. Commissioner Phillips, you indicated to me on a state highway, for example, you've got organic debris. Well, that's, the state's got an issue right there, right? But I'm getting multiple phone calls about sight distance problem, folks pulling out. At the end of the day, I wanted the commission to be aware. We are aware, I got a punch list yesterday of about a dozen locations that we're aware of. After that, we're going to basically turn it over to code enforcement, okay? And we're going to treat it just like it should be, a non-emergency event. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, I just wanted the commission to be aware, county attorney and I are working on it together along with code enforcement. Once again, we're not saying we got every single one of them, but we can separate the difference on our arterial, minor collector, major collector roads. Commissioner Hollowworth, you indicated a little outline road. We missed some of those. But on our major roads, we haven't missed any of those.
It's very easy to tell when, it's.
Mr. Kirby,
Sure.
we have not okayed any crews from like the power company, anything to pile debris on our right of way for us to pick up. Have we approved any of that?
No, sir. And I'm glad you brought that up. So when your right of way crews or your power companies, historically, they sub it out. It's usually not them as a prime. They sub that work out. There was some confusion, I'll call it. I guess that's what you call it.
Meant to be.
As we're going through the process, simply put, we were taken advantage of. Okay? We're trying to get ahead of that.
So the company I believe it's pronounced Asplund.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Barwick Road, they have trimmed and piled debris all the way down Barwick Road, the
Okay.
first part of there. And it's been there for 3 or 4 weeks now, and, we need to get a hold of somebody to get them out.
So that's,
We need to pick that up.
that's a good example, Commissioner Ford. Once again, we are completing our punch list phase of true stuff right now. Post completion of that, that's a good point. We're going to treat those examples, send nice letter, send email, please get debris picked up. If they do not cooperate with us, we'll turn it through code enforcement. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Chair, before David gets up, I'm meeting with code enforcement a little later this morning. One of the things that Mr. Kirby and I discussed is we're going to ask code enforcement to use a gentle hand for the rest of the year. You know, the way Winston will do, he'll come out and just sort of visit and say, hey, you really ought to clean this up. But as of January 1st, we're going to ask him to go ahead and start doing notice of violation and things like that. So he'll ramp up slowly. He's not going to go straight to notice of violation like he ordinarily, as Kevin said. It's a public safety issue when you have large amounts of debris too close to the traveled right of way. We don't want to be sued for that. So usually Winston will handle that as a fairly serious expedited matter, but he's not going to do that until the first of the year.
And David, I'm sure y'all will go forth noticing the public, Facebook, whatever,
Sure, the
Instagram,
news-
just
And the
wear them out,
newspapers here.
wear them out with it, yeah.
Okay, let me ask a question, Chair. About the debris on DOT right away.
Right.
That is a liability on DOT, am I right?
That would be right. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so I have questioned some people that I know at DOT.
Mhm.
I have acquired a phone number to call somebody that's above those people
Okay.
to see what's going on and
Right.
why we can't get it taken care of.
Yeah, no, and yeah, DOT, I'm assuming as soon as they can get to it, they will. I can tell you from our perspective, and my advice to our Public Works Department is, we'll clean it up and do the enforcement action later.
Yeah.
You know, because again, as Kevin indicated, it's a matter of time. Somebody's going to come off the road, they're going to run into a large stump, they're going to terribly injure themselves. And we'll be, not legally, we're legally responsible for that. We're also morally responsible.
Right.
We have to keep our right of ways as clear as we can. So
So even on the DOT, we have to do that or
no,
not?
sir. No, sir. That's,
We don't
it's
have
really, we can't. It's
And that's
not
why
our
I
right
asked,
way to clean.
because
Yeah.
I questioned DOT here in Lake City, and the answer I got back was they were not gonna pick it up. But I said, somebody got to pick it up. So as a commissioner, I want the stuff picked up. So I have made my arrangement to get a phone number. So I would
Now,
do what I-
one of the things we can do, and we're fortunate because Kevin has a really good relationship with a lot of folks at DOT. When state agencies need help, I think they're spread pretty thin dealing with other parts of the state right now. We are allowed, just so y'all know, we're allowed to provide assistance to other agencies. All they have to do is ask.
Yeah.
So once they ask, so water management's done this before, DOT's done it before. Hey, county, can you help out? And I think if we can, we do.
Okay.
Right. So, but that'll be the necessary step, is for them to ask us to help.
Kevin?
I have had communication with the department as it relates to this. Simply put, they are taking a different position than we took with organic debris by constituent putting out by the roadway. So I want to advise this commission that I would not dare dive off into DOT territory without written authorization from the department. Simply put, they are taking a different position than we took by folks putting organics out by the road.
Gotcha. And I'm sure we all, the one situation you're dealing with, I'm sure is right at her long road, 47.
Well, there and over on 41,
Okay.
by the racetrack.
Chairman, can I say?
Yes, sir.
One thing I want to say, during all this, when it all started, I know that there were some doubts about how this was going to get picked up, who was doing it, who wasn't doing it. And I even had some constituents say, y'all need to do like they're doing in Live Oak. Well, I can promise you, I got a road, and it's, what is it called? Mana something. But all our section of that road needs to be picked up. There's about 50 or 60 other piles that haven't been picked up. And I'm not making fun of Live Oak or anything, but I want people to know that we do different than any other county. And the reason we do different is because we get it done quicker and we get it done more efficiently. And that is because of Kevin Kirby and his wonderful road department. I want to say thank all those guys. He's not the only guy, but he runs that show like a well-oiled machine. And I've been all over Lafayette County and all these other counties, and that's no big deal to them. It's a small counties. It's hard for them to do what we do, but there is no one that I know of around us that has gotten this stuff done as quickly and as efficiently as we have. And I just want to commend our road department. And y'all all know it. A lot of people don't know it, but without Mr. Kirby at the helm of that, we'd be in a different situation. So I didn't know when we first started this. I said, well, they're saying they're doing it faster. Well, now I know, because we're down to the end of it, and there's still piles adjacent to our county that are other counties. And I understand that they're doing everything they can. And I think DOT's doing that cleaning, and DOT's got a lot to do. But I just want to commend our county and our not the commission, but the county and the county road department, because we got it done quickly. And I hope the citizens of this county understand that we did it as fast as we could and as efficiently as we could. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, David?
This next item is an update on the septic tank permitting. This is a critical item to our county. State legislature changed the rules. And so all of your septic tank permitting, which is currently done by the department, the Board of Health, is being moved to the Department of Environmental Protection. And it's going to happen to us in June. And so I wanted to bring the health department here to give you an update on what's going on and talk about some options.
Morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Diana Duquesne. I'm the director here of the Columbia County Health Department. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed. The legislature approved the Clean Water Act in 2020, which, as David explained, transferred the on-site sewage program, which includes inspections and permitting, from Department of Health to DEP. And knowing this transition was going to take a while, and to ease it, they decided to do an interagency agreement. So DOH has been still providing those services, but that interagency agreement expires on July 1st of 2026. So in order for the transition to happen, it was decided to do it in a 3-phase process. So phase 1 is being completed at this point, and those are the counties between Escambia to Jefferson, and those are all small. So they decided to include Marion County as well for phase 1 in order to get experience for DEP taking over the program. Phase 2 would be for counties from Taylor, Madison, all the way down south to Pasco, Osceola, and Brevard. So Columbia County is in phase 2, and it's projected to be about June, but it's contingent on legislative appropriation. They have to make a motion in order to be providing them funding and positions in order to move forward for phase 2. So if that goes through, we will be in phase 2, and we're thinking sometime between June and August, they'll be hiring the staff and taking over the on-site sewage program. Now, the model that they have in mind is going to be remote. So they're not going to have a physical office in every county as we currently do with the Department of Health having the program. So it might delay permitting and inspections. What I did find out is that DEP is looking for landing spots for their remote staff, meaning somewhere where the remote staff could go into an office space one time a week, maybe meet with their supervisor. So they are looking for places to house them. I think this is an opportunity for the board to consider proposing to DEP renting out some square footage on one of our properties for the county to see if DEP would be interested in housing their staff here. The benefit with that is that I think it will help with communication. It'll help building and permitting to have a human being here that they could communicate with or get input on if there's any delays on permitting. And I think it'll be better in the long run. Not every county is going to be doing this, and not every county is going to have the opportunity to house these remote staff. So I wanted to recommend to the board to take this opportunity sooner than later. I heard DEP is looking for proposals. So the sooner we could try to get something into them of renting out a space to them, I think would be beneficial for all the residents here in Columbia County.
That would be a huge deal.
Yeah.
For the people of our county.
Right. So the thought was, when we originally purchased the reporter building, that it would house this program under the Board of Health. So the spaces are still there. So you wouldn't have to create space or buy a new building or anything.
So, let me make sure I understand it. So, the health department is still gonna be in the office it's in, and we're looking for an office space for DEP, is that what?
Correct, yes. So we would still provide other environmental public health services. We provide lots of other programs, but just not the on-site sewage.
So the
That's going to DEP.
DEP, the DEP portion of it would just be for on-site sewage.
Correct,
for
yes, sir.
Septic permits
And inspections, correct.
installation.
Right, so right now, when they go get a permit, they see someone in person, right? And they want to change that to where it's all online or computer. Yeah, no, let's go with somebody that they see. I think that works. I want to go see somebody. If I'm going to permit, I want to see somebody.
Now, this office might not be public facing, but I think we have a better chance for relationships to be developed and get answers if there was one
Kevin,
representative here.
Most of the permitting now is
Done through, you know.
Right.
Additionally,
But,
if for some reason it doesn't work, they already are here.
yeah, we would surely, and I hope Dave and them get on top of this pretty quick, because I'm sure other counties are going, we want it here.
Yeah.
So let's get on that and get them all, whatever she needs to do with y'all. I feel like that's a very important issue. Even though they're not going to be public, seeing the public, there's still somebody you can walk down there, a commissioner or somebody with y'all, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
it would
you'll see
definitely be
somebody.
beneficial to
Yeah.
us to have have an office in our county.
Big time.
Is there a recommended square footage needed?
No,
I
I
mean-
asked that to try to get some feedback and guidance.
It's kind of a moving target,
Like
isn't it?
offices, do they need cubicles, how much space? There
I
wasn't
think-
any feedback on that.
I think the key is to offer it quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I
I think
mean?
that's what it
Let's
is.
get them in there quickly, and then if we're the first, we might be the first.
So do we need a motion for this, Chair?
I would say yes.
I'll make a motion that we offer a space for DEP in Columbia County.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So what I'll do is I'll get together with Mr. Foreman and we'll prepare documentation and whatever, and we'll get up with DEP and make them an offer.
But I think like Commissioner Hollingsworth said, sooner than later. I mean, this is,
Should be a pretty straightforward lease agreement.
Well, I mean, we'll invite them to negotiate, basically, that the board's approved us to offer them space. We need to know what they need and things like that. But yeah, this is the important first step to make sure we're at the front of the line.
okay. Real quick, Commissioner Ford, the update on utilities, if you don't mind, elaborate on what was in the paper today.
Okay, so everybody knows we went out for advertisement for a director for the water utility. We didn't get any applications back, but I think it had a lot to do because of the hurricanes and the holidays and even the election, it sounds like. So we voted to go ahead and re-advertise that position. But what we did have the opportunity to do is State Representative Bobby Payne, he term limited it out this last time, and he has over 30-something years in the utility business with Seminole Electric and some others. And so he is very well qualified in the utility. He knows how to maintain, operate, and run a utility, and he has offered us a consulting service while we're still seeking a director. And I think he will be very beneficial to the utility. And yesterday we agreed to sign a contract with him, a 6-month contract for $5,000 a month on a retainer. And one of the first things he's going to start for us is our business plan. So when we were advertising for a rate study, one of the things we found out that whoever does our rate study really needs a business plan. So yesterday at the meeting, we asked Swanee County to sit down and kind of do a 5-year goal of where they think the utility should be in 5 years, 10 years, and then 20 years. And what Columbia County is going to do the same thing, try to do some goals where we think we should be over the next 5, 10, 20 years. And having that will help with the business plan and know how we're looking to progress forward. And you know, we really need guidance in this, and we need qualified people guiding us and telling us which way, what we need to look for, and which way we need to head. And I think Mr. Payne can help us with that quite a bit. And he's agreed to help us. And like I say, I think I'm glad they accepted his offers.
Well, I was excited the other day, Commissioner, when I come in and seen him in the office there, but, Mr. Payne was very helpful to rural counties that years served in Tallahassee and,
Yes.
but with his experience here, I think it's a good investment for so we'll move forward and, look for good things to happen.
Well, you know, he started rural county days,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been a big proponent for rural
That's right.
counties. And he's worked with, you know, in the utility business with rural counties for
That's right.
years. And
That's right.
so he knows the business, and he's also agreed to help us with the search for a full-time director. Like I say, he's been in the business for 30-something years. He's got several contacts in that business. So he's going to put some feelers out for us for a director also. So
Good
like I
deal.
say, I think he can help us in many ways with the utility to get on our feet and get going. So I look forward to what he can bring to us over the next few months.
All right. Well, thank you, Rocky.
Thank you, Rocky.
David?
Okay. So the
Moving
next thing,
forward, number 13.
yes, number 13, employee training tuition agreement. Basically, we've discovered, and a lot of places across the state have discovered, it's easier to grow your own firefighters than try and recruit them from other places. And so this is our first attempt at trying to do just that. This is an agreement that says, if we send you to get your education and your certifications and become qualified, you guarantee you will give us 3 years of service. We're asking the board to approve the training tuition agreement with Fire and Rescue. It's currently funded in the department's training budget.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
The next one is Hurricane Milton reimbursement agreement, 25-08. There's an agreement in your packet from FEMA and from the state that basically says up to $3 million for reimbursement for any disaster, emergency, what we call emergency protective measures that we had to do in preparation for Milton. Doesn't mean we'll do the full 3 million. Obviously, it's a reimbursement, but this is up to 3 million. So this includes any overtime, any time spent, any shelters we opened, anything we needed to do to prep for Hurricane Milton. Obviously, Milton did not hurt us very badly, but we still had expenditures, and this is our way to get that money back.
I'll make a motion, we approve agreement Z4584 and BA 25-08.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed.
So my last item is a selection of Value Adjustment Board member. Basically, we have a vacancy for the alternate on the Value Adjustment Board, and we need to fill it. Rocky is the main member, I believe, Commissioner Ford,
I'm the chairman.
and so he needs an alternate for when he's unavailable.
Okay.
Do we have any applications?
It'd be one of you.
Gotta
Be one of
gotta be
us.
one of us. Yeah.
Everett, that's something you want to do?
application down here and that down there.
When do y'all meet? Rob?
Well, they're scheduled the last meeting now, so I'd have to look back.
I mean, how often a year?
Oh, just a couple times a year.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead.
We've
and pick
met one time and appointed officers and everything, but
So do I have the authority to appoint?
Mhm.
Well, we'll go ahead and pick on the newbie. We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and
Somehow I
give,
knew
we'll
that
see
was
how.
coming. I knew that was coming. I was like, well.
You better be glad we like you, Kevin. So, I don't think he'll have any reservation with that. We just lost our screen. And, it may be the perfect time to lose that. That's good.
so we need to make a motion or you just appoint? We don't need to vote on it.
You're just going to appoint.
Just going to appoint,
So-
okay.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you
So
all
you
very
can have
much
it.
and Merry Christmas.
Okay, so at this time, open public comments. Anybody got 3 minutes to speak about anything? Don't see none. Okay, staff comments? Joe, Kirby?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's all I was going to add. Merry Christmas to the board, to everybody with staff. You know, we're not going to see each other again.
Till after Christmas.
If everything goes according to plan, I don't plan to see y'all until January.
I better see you with my gift, Christmas.
That's not the plan, Rob.
And, good deal. With the, updates by the county manager on anything specific come about? Good.
Good to go.
Commissioners, Mr. Parnell, you got anything you'd like to share with us? Tell us where you're going on vacation, all that good stuff.
No, I'm getting out of here. As soon as this is over, I'm getting out of here and we're heading to the mountains. That's about it.
Good deal.
So I would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas also and Happy New Year, and we'll
Right.
see y'all next year.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
Get
Happy
ready with your
holidays.
speech, Robbie. Come on now.
Merry Christmas. I don't ever get anything for Christmas. I don't like Christmas. It costs me a bunch of money.
But, again, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I don't think we'll see each other before the New Year, will we? Yes, sir. Looking forward to a good year coming up, and a lot of exciting things happen. Scott, I guess you'll have a good, you got the first present, so hopefully we'll see 47 at a different facet. And recognizing Mr. Brandon, representative of Senator Mr. Petronas. You got anything you'd like to add or anything? Okay. Appreciate you taking the time to sit with us. Okay, I'll seek a motion to.
Chairman, one question for-
I'm sorry, I left the old fella out.
Chairman,
I'm not used to having somebody on the right that talks.
Chairman, one
Yes.
question for you. We do adjourn too. When are you gonna put out your list of committee assignments?
I will have them, I think I just got with Commissioner Parnell, and he accepted, to work with Swanee Valley Transit. So I'll just adjust what few is on there that I think
Okay.
everybody's staff's been able to talk with all y'all, so there's
Okay.
gonna be no changes to amount to anything really.
Okay.
Other than myself fulfilling utilities and maybe one or two other ones, but nothing I do. So I'll try to get with you before the end of maybe the end of next week, and then you can send forth.
We'll put out a formal list.
Okay. And if any of y'all have anything you want to get off or anything that maybe the discussion had to take place, reach out to David, and then we'll stay within the boundaries of sunshine and do what we got to do. But okay. All right.
Now can I talk?
Yeah, there you
Now
go.
can I talk?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna talk long, but I just want everybody to have their prayers and thoughts out for the Dix family. Lost a son Monday, and I know he probably didn't know about it, but they've lost a son. It was in California, so they do need your prayers. And I want to say thanks for having me here this year, and have a Merry Christmas. And if I don't see you before, Happy New Year. What about that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. All right, motion to adjourn.
We done.
Thank you.